Good morning students, here we come up with the development of urinary bladder. In the development of urinary bladder, we will first discuss embryogenesis. This point is very important. When we discuss embryogenesis of urinary bladder as well as urethra. So in the embryogenesis, we need to understand the entire concept of the development of urinary bladder and urethra. So in embryogenesis, we first draw this sagittal section of the diagram in which here we will show the umbilical cord that will be in sagittal section. This is the umbilical cord. So here we show the umbilical cord here. Then next we show over here, this will be the lower part, and this lower part here we show this is the tail end of the embryo. This lower part here will signify the tail portion of the embryo. This is the cross section, or rather the sagittal section of the umbilical cord. Now what we need to show will be the yolk sac which is engulfed during the head and tail fold. The yolk sac which is engulfed during the head and tail fold of the embryo, which we have discussed during general embryology, will provide for the development of foregut, midgut and hindgut. A portion of yolk sac which lies within the tail fold of embryo will be known as hindgut. Very simple, basically very simple. So what is the first statement? The first statement will be the portion of yolk sac during the head and tail fold of embryo, or during the foldings of embryo, which is engulfed in tail fold, this is the tail fold, will be known as hindgut. So we have to draw the hindgut at this point. So therefore, let us draw, this will be the hindgut. Now here, this will stand with the hindgut. So this portion is the hindgut, and therefore we will just write it as hindgut, and here we will mention this as the tail fold of the embryo, or it is called caudal fold of the embryo. Now, as this is the portion of hindgut, this hindgut, will communicate ventrally, this is the ventral portion, with allantoic diverticulum. So therefore, we will show here this allantoic diverticulum. So this will be the allantoic diverticulum. So therefore, ventrally, I'll put an arrow. Ventrally, the hindgut will communicate with allantoic diverticulum. And this allantoic diverticulum will communicate with umbilical cord with its tip. So therefore, here we show that this is the tip of allantoic diverticulum, which will communicate with the umbilical cord. Very simple. So therefore, here we are having this allantoic diverticulum, and let us name this as allantoic diverticulum. This is our allantoic diverticulum, which is the ventral communication of the hindgut. Now at the same time, this hindgut will be related, or it will have the presence of cloacal membrane in its caudal part as well as ventral part. So in the lower ventral part, where my finger is there, and in the caudal part, there is presence of cloacal membrane. So therefore, this cloacal membrane, which I will draw with red color, this cloacal membrane, this is the cloacal membrane, which I am showing here with red color. This cloacal membrane has presence of only two germ layers, and these two germ layers will be ectoderm and endoderm. There will be no intervening mesoderm. So there will be no secondary mesoderm in between ectoderm and endoderm. It is a bilaminar membrane, cloacal membrane. So what is the relation of cloacal membrane at this time? Cloacal membrane is present in the caudal part of hindgut and in ventral part of hindgut. This is second important point, very important point. So therefore here we will just mark this as cloacal membrane. Now, present caudally Once again, caudal to hindgut and dorsally there is primitive streak. So therefore, the primitive streak will be present just caudal and dorsal to the hindgut, which I'll use this as yellow color. I will show this as primitive streak. So this is the primitive streak which is present in the caudal as well as the dorsal part of the hindgut, primitive streak. So therefore, now here I will mark this as primitive streak. And we know that this primitive streak will continue dorsally as the notochord. So therefore, you can show the notochord like this. This will be the notochord. And of course, dorsal to notochord, if I draw this with orange color, there will be presence of caudal end of neural tube. So therefore, this will be the caudal end of the neural tube. So this is how you need to mark. This will be the notochord, and over here this will be the neural tube, caudal end. Now this diagram is complete. Therefore, now we come back to this cloacal membrane. Now what will happen will be, this cloacal membrane, since it is related to the caudal and ventral part of the hindgut, there will be further development of primitive streak. Now this primitive streak will go on proliferating and it will develop into mesodermal cells. Now the cells, the mesodermal cells, mark it, the mesodermal cells of primitive streak will migrate as they are undergoing proliferation. As they migrate, they will migrate ventrally and towards the cloacal membrane. So as they migrate ventrally, they will surround the cloacal membrane on both the sides. As they surround the cloacal membrane on both the sides, and they will migrate towards the umbilical cord. So this ventral migration of mesodermal cells of primitive streak on either side of cloacal membrane will produce two raised lateral folds, and these two raised lateral folds will be on either side of cloacal membrane, and these folds will be known as the genital folds. So in the next diagram we are going to draw the genital folds. Same diagram, we will once again rub it and draw as the second diagram. So in the second diagram, what we will show will be, first we will show that the cells of primitive streak will migrate. So this is how the cells of primitive streak will migrate. Here we show that the cells of primitive streak, they are migrating on either side of cloacal membrane. So in between these two line of cells of primitive streak, mesodermal cells of primitive streak, we will show here presence of cloacal membrane. So here we will show that this cloacal membrane is now limited like this. This is our presence of cloacal membrane. Now this is the cloacal membrane. Now the mesodermal cells which are showing migration from primitive streak on either side of cloacal membrane will produce two lateral folds. It will produce elevation of the two lateral folds. These two folds will be known as genital folds. So here we have to mark it as, please mark this as genital folds. These genital folds, what are genital folds? If you are asked in one mark question answer, they are simple elevated two lateral folds on either side of cloacal membrane, which is produced because of mesodermal cells from the primitive streak. Now, as these two genital folds have been developed, they will migrate ventrally, this is ventral portion, and ventral to the tip of cloacal membrane, they will join and form the phallus. This phallus is nothing but genital tubercle. So initially it will form genital tubercle, later on that genital tubercle will develop into phallus. So here we will show that there will be presence of this genital tubercle. So this will be the genital tubercle, and this genital tubercle is nothing but merging of the two genital folds ventral to the cloacal membrane. This is ventral to cloacal membrane. So this, it will form another structure which will be known as genital tubercle. So here we will name this structure as genital tubercle. So two structures have developed, genital fold, second is genital tubercle. And we will show the anterior abdominal wall over here, it will be continuous with genital tubercle. Now we will show that this portion, we come to the hindgut. Now we are coming to the hindgut portion. Before that, I will just rub this hindgut. And we will draw, once again, we are going to draw this hindgut. We know that the hindgut is connected ventrally with allantoic diverticulum. So here, this is the allantoic diverticulum. This is the upper portion, and here we are going to show the lower portion. This is the lower portion. Now, this hindgut will be divided into two parts by attachment of allantoic diverticulum. So this allantoic diverticulum, which is attached to the hindgut, will divide the entire hindgut into two parts, pre-allantoic, post-allantoic part. The part of hindgut which is lying above the level of allantoic diverticulum is called the pre-allantoic part, and the part of hindgut which lies below the level of allantoic diverticulum, this part is called post-allantoic part, and this post-allantoic part will then enlarge and form an enlarged sac, and this enlarged sac will be known as endodermal cloaca. This enlarged portion is now known as endodermal cloaca. So what is cloaca? What is the definition of cloaca? The endodermal cloaca or the cloaca is nothing but the post-allantoic part of the hindgut. It will enlarge and form a sac-like structure which will be known as the endodermal cloaca. This is the definition of cloaca and how cloaca develops. Very simple. So the post-allantoic part of the hindgut is called endodermal cloaca. We know that. Now what will happen? Now as the endodermal cloaca is developed, and as we have developed the two genital folds, right and left, both the lateral raised margins, genital folds on either side of cloacal membrane, and they fuse and form the genital tubercle. Now this genital tubercle will develop later on into phallus. Please note down, the genital tubercle will later on develop into phallus. Now what will happen will be, as the two genital folds are nothing but they are the proliferated mesodermal cells from primitive streak. Once again the mesodermal cells from the primitive streak, as they have migrated into genital folds, they will migrate more ventrally towards the umbilical cord. And as they migrate more ventrally towards the umbilical cord, like this, if I show it like this, they migrate ventrally towards the umbilical. As they migrate ventrally towards the umbilical cord, they will form the most important part of the ventral wall of embryo, and that will be, they will form the infra-umbilical portion of anterior abdominal wall of the embryo. So what is the development of infra-umbilical portion of the anterior abdominal wall of embryo? That infra-umbilical part of anterior abdominal wall is nothing but it is developed from the migrating mesodermal cells from the genital folds, or the migrating mesodermal cells from the primitive streak. So as the primitive streak mesodermal cells have migrated and formed the genital folds, same mesodermal cells of primitive streak will migrate more ventrally towards the umbilical cord, and later on they will develop into the infra-umbilical part of anterior abdominal wall. Please note down, this is one mark question answer. So here I will mark this as, this structure I will mark it as infra-umbilical part of anterior abdominal wall. Infra-umbilical part of anterior abdominal wall. This is how the infra-umbilical part of anterior abdominal wall is developed from the migration of the mesodermal cells of primitive streak. And now in the last phase, what will happen will be, this cloacal membrane will lie against the outside ectoderm in such a way that there will be a pit-like structure of the ectoderm which will cover the cloacal membrane, and that will be known as the ectodermal cloaca. So that portion of ectoderm which is lying against the cloacal membrane and that pit-like structure will be known as the proctodium. So the cloacal membrane will lie against the pit-like structure of the external ectoderm. So at present, in the embryogenesis of the urinary bladder, we have discussed the following important points. Number one, we started with the development of cloaca, that is the portion of the hindgut which is present in tail fold. What is endodermal cloaca? Then what is allantoid diverticulum? Then the next point will be primitive strip. Then next point was the genital folds. Then the cloacal membrane. Then the genital tubercle. And finally the infraumbilical portion of the anterior abdominal wall. So these are the structures which will develop initially before the development of urinary bladder and urethra. So it is called embryogenesis. Now here we have dealt with embryogenesis part 1. Coming up in the next segment will be embryogenesis part 2, where we will discuss how the entire urorectal septum will divide the hindgut, that is this endodermal cloaca, into ventral and dorsal part. Dorsal part will be known as rectum and ventral part will lead to development of urogenital sinus. And it will be from this urogenital sinus that urinary bladder and urethra develops. And from the dorsal portion, that is the primitive rectum, there will be development of rectum and anal canal. So in the part 2, we will deal across these points. So here we finish our part 1 of embryogenesis of urinary bladder. Thank you very much.